The following video is the expressed opinion of the host and of no one else. This is the host's understanding and interpretation of events discussed in this video. Thank you for watching. Hey everybody, so this is me coming back to respond on part 2 of Dead Kennedy in Space versus UniRock. And I'm going to be going over some information that was supplied to me by UniRock and his fans. Some of that information is out there already, I've talked about it. But I also want to address the elephant in the room, so to speak, and that is my remarks on my stream. That went for 8 hours, and I can't actually shorten. So I'm going to be updating the thing, saying this is where it ends. Just me and Steve talking. I thought I ended the stream type of thing. Anyways, I'm going to stand by my words that I think that until he provides evidence of why he's making these, what I'm going to call, until I have proof, baseless accusations towards AT2 Productions, Jared, Steve McRae, Chesh, Dick Dawson, and Dead Kennedy in Space about doxing him and threatening him. Until I have proof of that, those are baseless accusations. Now, that's going to present in this video as me having a bias, with me leading off with that. I understand that. But to be honest, I'm going to try and be as unbiased as possible when going over the information provided to me by UniRock and a commenter in my video, who I'm assuming is a fan of UniRock, but I don't know. Her name is Strawberry Harpy. With all of this said, let's get into it. So we're going to start off with the tweets that were brought to my attention of what started this. And that is, UniRock, I rescind my support for the shills. And I know he spelled that wrong. I don't care about the spelling, punctuation stuff. Let's just move on with the actual message and what the intent was. I rescind my support for the shills. I don't mind if you still support them, but but I'm letting my following know. Those of you that subbed or supported me because of me, I was wrong and I misled you. Thanks. Have a good one. I wish the shills the best. To which Dead Kennedy responded, "What did we do?" Now, in my previous video, I talked about why I think that Uni was at fault here in the presentation of this. He didn't actually explain why he's rescinding his support for the shills. Now, you can see that he's pointing to Steve McRae and the various screenshots that he has and tweet screenshots from him, yada yada, and you can see that Dead Kennedy basically is telling him, to F off because he wanted a conversation, and all UniRock did is just keep showing screenshots. These screenshots in and of themselves say nothing. They just say that, yes, you have a hate boner for Steve because he called you out on what you were calling him out on. So that, I'm planning on being another video. Why am I becoming a drama channel now? God damn it. Anyways. And it ends with basically this. You could just cop to the shit that you said to others since this started, instead of acting like because you didn't say it on social media, it doesn't matter. That too. And then basically he ends up calling out Dead Kennedy on his own tweet thread here. Let's see here. Because Dead Kennedy in Space punked out about coming on my show to have a real conversation. Uni, I understand entirely that, as a content creator, you want to have your views aired on your channel at your leisure. But you know what? Conversations are a two-way street. Conversations need to be worked out between people. The fact that you wouldn't entertain the actual conversation he was trying to have with you on Twitter about this, doesn't look good for you. But let's go over the evidence that was presented to me. Nobody except for Strawberry Harpy gave me a timestamp in this live stream. So I'm going off of what I heard in this live stream. So with that, let's move on. So we're just a few seconds before the live stream, which was The Shills Need I Say More on Steve McRae's channel. Now, in watching this the first time through, I was on my way to work, just kind of listening and whatnot. And this was Saturday, actually, after my video aired. So, as I was listening, I had to make mental notes, and then when I got to a safe spot that I could park, I texted my wife, "Hey, I'm just texting you these timestamps, or these timestamp markers, so I can come back and rewatch this." So, my first timestamp of this video is 41 minutes 15 seconds. So here you can see that I have it at 40 minutes 59 seconds. Let's have a listen, shall we?
How many people? It's okay.
Wait,
5 people have now seen the new intro. The guy that
did you guys find? Did you guys find the stock editor that Kyle uses for everything?
No. We got a good intro. So, so we have the person who made it. Bullinair's seen it. Sweet Heathen has seen it. Who else has seen it? Cheshire's seen it, and Red's Rhetoric has seen it. So those are 5 people on the planet. So Reds, I'm sorry, Reds, Uni. Why did I say Uni? Oh my God, somebody's mentioning Uni in the UniRock and live chat. I'm like,
funny one.
Bullinair's, I'm not fucking Uni. Somebody's like, hey, UniRock's live. I'm like, I don't give a rat's ass. That motherfucker could just piss the shit off, man. He's like, he's serious. This guy's like, oh my God, Steve and Leslie had a fraudulent fundraiser from what I understand. I'm like, oh my God. So we had a fundraiser for 6 kids during Christmas. Go fuck yourself. Okay. I'm like, it's just pathetic. But anyways, it's sad. It's true. I'm swear to God, that's really what they're running the narrative. But Dave,
I haven't watched much of the back and forth, but I've been getting the notifications.
Oh God, it's a riot. It's a riot.
You guys definitely have a game of tennis going on right now.
No, I don't, because I got other things I'm doing, but I'm gonna be doing it on like Instagram. But I got other people out there. I've got Little Red's out there. She's do it. I've got Moon. I've got a lot of people that they'll bother with us. I'm not gonna.
All right, so my timestamp that I marked it at is 42:19. So 41:15 to 42:19, a whole minute. Now, there's a little bit more, and I will play the rest of it here in just a second. But when I first listened to this, when I first heard this, UniRock, my thought was, you got upset, or somebody told you that the Shills laughed at Steve making a joke about you. No, what Steve was doing was, he had a Freudian slip trying to talk to Bullinator. Now, first he called them Reds. Wait, not Reds. Then he said Uni, and then he went into his diatribe. But then as I continue to listen to it, I hear what Dick said. Now, I've talked to Dick. I know what his intention and the Shill's intention was. This is beef between you and Steve, Uni. We don't want to be a part of it. So, just leave us out of it. Steve generally has the principle of, I don't care who you platform. I don't care who you go on, whose platform you go on. I don't necessarily respect people that continually support certain things, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to live your life. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to run your channel. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to promote yourselves. If I'm understanding Steve correctly and the way he talks about things. So, my first thought was, Uni, why are you upset about this? Why are you upset at the Shills about this? I can understand being pissed at Steve. Hell, I would probably be pissed at Steve too. I'm still researching the backstory on that. So, again, that'll be another either video for myself or just something to follow along, so that way I know where to make my opinions. Anyways, so giving you the benefit of the doubt, I can understand kind of why you'd be like, okay, I'm rescinding my support for the Shills because this. I think it's petty, but I can understand. So there's that for you. But let's keep listening here for a second.
Watch Uni's crap. I'm not.
Yeah.
The people that are watching them, they're the ones that are feeding into their diatribe and their narrative. I don't mean stop watching them because I want them to be exposed, but I don't think as many people probably need to. I think it should only be like one or two that have to suffer for the rest of us. But
yeah.
But
well,
we'll
us
get back to Dave
ourselves.
because I was going to ask Dave now with the non sequitur. Oh yeah, what do you think of the intro? Yeah, what do you think of the intro, Dave?
So there's that. You know, Steve has his thing. That's fine. The shows have told me that they've always wanted to be, we can be friends with both of you. They literally, in the sense of a business, could literally be, hey, we're going to have Steve and Chesh on. UniRock, we'll have you on at another time. Or they could be like, hey, UniRock, we're going to have you on. Steve and Chesh, we'll have you on at another time. It's their channel. It's their way to run the platform. You have the right to say, no, I don't want to appear because you support Steve. Or you're having Steve on. That's fine. Steve could say the same thing about having you on. Odds are Steve would still come on their channel, even though you've been on it. Steve, to me, seems like a pretty equitable guy in the fact that he's like, I'll come and talk, whatever the subject. If you want to know my opinion on it, I'll tell you. That's pretty fair point of view to have. That's a pretty rational mindset to have. I wish you could see that, UniRock. I wish you could see that. But that's not the only timestamp I got from this clip from this live stream that I found myself after being pointed here by you, Uni. Let's go over to 4607. So we're going to go up here just a little bit before that. And let's listen to this one. This goes from 4607 to 4640 is what my initial, but we'll probably play a little bit more.
Over there to make their voice heard. It's fine.
Well, look at here's a fact. UniRock and Katie Joy both have their own goon squad, and then now they're combined forces, and they sit in Discord and they actually say, how are we going to fuck with people today? Basically, how are we going to do this? What are we going to do? Blah blah. They actually are running narrative and say, what do we need to do to put these guys on the defensive, kind of thing. I don't play that fucking game.
That shit.
Look, after what
honestly,
UniRock did to Leslie Bass, his reputation's shot. He's dishonorable. He's a coward. He can fuck off. Nobody should have anything to do with him, in my opinion. If you do, great. But you know what? I'm not gonna have that much respect for anybody that has anything to do with somebody that did what he did to Leslie Bass. I can't. I just can't.
Now, here's the thing. Steve is entitled to his opinion of you, Uni. I think you would agree with me on that. People are entitled to their opinion of anybody and any topic. But I think what kind of hurt you with the shills on this, or what made the shills even doubly more hurtful on this towards you, because this is, again, before, from what I can tell by timelines, that, because I don't have the exact minutes when you posted your tweet, that these two segments were before you sent out your tweet. And so you see Dead Kennedy trying to butt in there to ask a question or to make a statement. You see Dick Dawson talking. So your immediate thought in my mind is that these guys are just trolls. They're just trying to fuck with me now. I'm not going to support them. Fine. That's your choice. And you didn't even have to go on after this saying, you could have just said, I don't want to talk about it. I'm just not going to support you guys anymore, and I'm going to leave it at that. Done and done, dusted. Or you could have gone and said, you guys at these timestamps said this stuff, and I don't like that, and that's why I'm not supporting you guys. They could have tried to come back and say, well, we're sorry that we've actually been trying to do this, and you can still say, no, I don't want to support you guys. And I can almost guarantee you, they would have left this alone. Steve would have left this alone, and there wouldn't be this drama. There wouldn't be this drama that I have to feel that I've been listening to for nearly a month now, back and forth on Twitter. Now, I could just as easily have ignored it. But unfortunately, I think that there's this underlying issue within the community that we're not, as a community, trying to eat our own. It is that our community is growing at such a rate that we're not getting always the most critical of thinkers in the community. And I am not critical thinker in the sense of, I can explain a lot of things, but I do try to step back and look at the bigger picture. I try to step back and look at things. That's why I'm trying to be as equitable to both you and I'm trying to be as equitable to you and Dead Kennedy in Space. I would hope that you would respect me for that. I hope Dead Kennedy in Space would respect me for that. I hope everybody would respect me for that. Removing your bias from covering a topic is hard. Would you agree with me? My chosen profession right now is going to be public relations. Preferably with my associate's degree in software engineering, I would like to tie that into working for a tech company. No guarantee that I'm going to be able to do that. But, that's ultimately my dream. But part of my job, part of my training, part of my schooling is learning to understand where my biases are and how to keep those out of there. Much like if you watch any lawyers on YouTube, especially ones that talk about having to defend people that do heinous things. OTP Lawyer is a great example. Recently he put out I want to say it was Saturday, he put out a video about having to represent people that do some pretty heinous things. And by their profession, their code of ethics for their profession, there are times where you're going to have to defend the person that does something horrible. So, a little bit of a tangent here, but sorry. But let's continue on. There's a bit more I think that is relevant to this conversation.
Can I ask everybody on the shills in the panel right now, did you hear a hint of monkey in Steve's voice right there? Jesus Christ, that was good.
What's that? What? Explain. Explain.
Jump the drunk.
You sounded a bit like Jump Monk, the drunk monkey there. That was a proper rant, shill style, and I honor the effort with a grand salute.
Oh, you haven't seen my good rants. I could do a good rant on Unleashed. I do that, and on Instagram. I am just.
So before I let this go any further, I want to draw your attention back to, before I pause this, Dead Kennedy in Space was trying to butt in. He was trying to ask a question or make a statement. Uni, I would love to know what your thoughts were before before I play on. You'll obviously have seen what I'm going to say, but I would love to know what you were thinking, because I could see that you were thinking, oh, Dead Kennedy's going to try and make some comment about me, or they're going to try and do something to discredit me, to do whatever. And I can understand that. I can respect that as a thought process, because when people are talking about you on the internet, when they're talking about you in videos or live streams, you don't know what they're going to say. You don't know if it's going to be charitable, if it's going to be nice, if it's on a channel that you personally have a grudge with, because at this point you two had a grudge. I'm sorry to say. That's how I viewed it, because I'm doing my research on your other videos, and I believe it was the 10th or the 11th that I want to say it was the 10th, that you had your live stream about criticizing Steve, and then he did his criticism. So we're now removed, 10 or 12 days, almost 2 weeks from that point. At that point, there've been a lot of time for animosity to grow. Justified or not, that's a lot of time for animosity to grow between two people. Would you agree with me, Uni? Steve, Dead Kennedy, anybody, UniRach, anybody? I hope you would. But let's listen to what's going on. What does Dead Kennedy actually say?
Man, I didn't realize I can do a rant so well sometimes.
Well, can I just point out, because Steve talked about like the shit these people get up to on Discord.
Mm-hmm.
The shit these people get up to on Discord. What could he be insinuating by that?
If you want to see like the hellhole that Discord can be, the weird pit of socially dysfunctional weirdos that can exist there, check out Tom Rabbit's channel.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
So now it leads up, it builds. You could be thinking, oh yeah, he's going to talk about my Discord server. I mean, I don't know if he was in your Discord server at all before that. That's irrelevant to me at this point, because he brings up an entirely different Discord server. So after that, I have a timestamp that was sent to me by Strawberry Harpy for 103. and I narrowed it down. And I'm just gonna say this because my comment might have sounded snarky to Strawberry Harpy, and it was not meant to be taken that way. But I do take a lot of distrust in when people provide me vague information. But the timestamp she referenced was 103, and it was written like it was written as 103 minutes basically. And for that, I did make kind of a snarky remark. Was that 103 minutes? Was that an hour and 30, or was that 103 seconds? I mean, what could it be? Because I know based on the length of the stream, one of these is narrowed out, etc. Anyways, for that, Strawberry Harpy, I'm sorry if you took that as snark or anything. That wasn't my intent. But often with written words, the tone is on the person reading it, not on the person writing it. So it was 103. It was an hour and 3 minutes, and I narrowed it down to roughly about 17 seconds. When Temper Love points out that UniRock has posted to Twitter and is quoting this tweet. All right. So then we go up to, I want to say it was right about here. You finally get them talking about UniRock's tweet.
I'm with you guys streaming right now, and
sorry, it's a little bit after this, but I don't want to miss it.
Your sister wanted to call me. I'm doing with you guys. Rachel wanted to call me, and I'm doing it with you guys. Oh my god! Have you guys seen Rachel's? Have you guys seen her? You guys seen her sister? Oh my god, my heart.
So.
No. I gotta bow out for 5 minutes, guys. Grandma's about to pick my son up. Sorry, I'll be right back. Hold on.
Yeah, I got a mad crush on Cheshire's sister. I'm not even gonna hide it. My sister wanted to call you, but I'm like,
say about that.
What?
Steve, want to hear some amazing news?
She got a crush on you too?
No.
Oh.
UniRock is currently rescinding his support for the shills.
Didn't know he had support for the shills.
Well, he's been on the show.
Because we're on this show? Well,
probably.
Yes.
You guys. Hey, like I said, anybody can have anybody that they want on. I don't judge people of that. I think people that support somebody like UniRock, I question their things, but he should be like grateful you guys have anything to do with him.
And so this is what she was kind of referring to that tweet, and then their response. So, Uni, I have to ask, and be honest with me, and be honest with everybody else. Why did you rescind your support for the shills? Am I right in my reading of the body? I say body language. Reading of the context of the videos. That is why, because they laughed at a Freudian slip by Steve, and then they were talking about how you and Katie Joy have your own, mob army, so to speak, of users. Your own smob. Your own troll army, whatever you want to call it. I mean literally all YouTubers that have any sort of following have their diehards that will die on the sword for whatever their person says. Would you agree with me on that? You can't tell me you don't have people like that. You can't tell me Steve doesn't have people like that. You can't tell me the shills don't have people like that. You can tell me that I don't have that, and I don't really have that many followers. I think I'm up to 159 now. So I'm sure somebody in there would be willing to die on the sword for me for anything that I've said to anybody on the internet. But with that said, why? Why did you rescind your support for the shills? Is that why? Because I can understand why. Could they have been more clear in what they were doing? Could they have been more clear? Should you have listened to them had they been clear? I say yes. Should they have? And I agree, they should have been clear about their intentions. But you should also have been clear on why you were rescinding. You should have, when asked why, what did they do? This should not have been the first response at all. The first response should have been you coming clean with, I saw this, or this was brought to my attention, I went back and watched it, and this is why. And all this drama could be avoided. Now, my bias is going to come back into this now. And I'm going to say right now, Uni, I 100% support the shills and Dead Kennedy in Space on this drama topic that I have covered in these 2 videos. That is, you should have been honest with them up front. You should have told them, especially Dead Kennedy, when he asked, what did we do? Why? What is it? And you should have said, you were on Steve's thing and you did this, that, and the other thing and didn't say it. On Twitter, he asked you on Twitter, you should have had a conversation with him on Twitter. And then when they asked you later when you post your first screenshot, you can't use words to speak to me like a human. That should have been your first clue that, hey, this does deserve an actual conversational response, not a one-way talking point, not a one-way stream, a legitimate, let's meet on a neutral channel. You could have contacted any other YouTubers out there and said, hey, I would love for you to host me and the shills so we can have not a debate, but a conversation and moderate it. So that way, if we get too heated, be like, hey, time out, done. But no, you continued on. You continued on providing screenshots of what Steve has said, what Steve has done on Twitter. And I agree with what Dead Kennedy is saying here. Okay, go F yourself, spambot. Because that's what you're acting like at that point. You're not acting like a person. You're acting like a machine. He's asked for a conversation and you go insane. And it isn't until he calls you that and you share this last one that you're like, I'm being serious. When you coming on? Dick coming to you. I'll schedule it soon. It should never have been able to be on your channel unless you were going to give them the right to dual stream as well. And I would have demanded that if it were me. But I think there's an underlying reason why you didn't do this. Why you didn't take the reasonable course of action here. You wanted the drama. You wanted people to hate you. You want people to be subscribed to you in your channels and watching for every little thing that you say about people. Watching for every little thing and trying to twist it out of context. Just because you need the narcissistic fix. Now, we're all on YouTube a bit narcissistic. We wouldn't be on YouTube if we don't want to hear ourselves talk. We wouldn't be on YouTube if we didn't want things. You know what I'm saying? This isn't if we didn't want the endorphin rush of being congratulated for a great video, or the fear of what if I'm wrong on this, and what if I do something wrong. There's a certain thrill in putting out a video that people might hate. But at the same time, you thrive on it. Your channel thrives on that. And I kind of caught a glimpse of that with the AT2 Look a Pig versus FTFE thing. And honestly, I think that if somebody like Steve had gotten involved with that, if somebody like even Boole had gotten involved and kind of mediated that situation could have turned out far better than when you meddled in it. Because you are like a dictator or a warlord on the battlefield. You don't care about the collateral damage that you cause, as long as you get your views and you get your hit me up at paypal.me/UniRock, where you have posted personal information before. Yeah, I've heard that you've had information besides your legal name out there. I could care less. I don't support doxing. I honestly think that anybody who doxes or swats anybody is a goddamn fucking coward trying to win an argument that they had no business being in. And I don't care if it's minor doxing, like if I were hiding my name and somebody came out and said, "Oh, you're Jay Brown, aren't you?" To full on having somebody lose their job, whatnot. I told Pig I don't like that. When he did that to G-Man. I don't want to be a part of that. I'm willing to help out people that want to honestly do things to make change, but the whole Gary Ridgway thing was an absolute joke, and I honestly felt bad for G-Man. G-Man is one of those people that it's hard for me to pity him, but when that happened, I was like, that's pretty fucked up to do that to somebody. No matter what they think or believe. I'm diatribing. I'm going on a rant here. Sorry. My point is, you shouldn't call somebody out for doxing you unless you have 100% proof, hard evidence that they are the ones that did it. You have bandied about AT2 Productions and Look Pig's names countless times since Look Pig has been off and outside of this community as trolls and people who are trying to undermine you. The only time I ever hear Jared talking about you, and I speak with Jared quite a bit actually, is when somebody brings you up. Or when they bring up that you've talked about Look a Pig again, or you've talked about this, that, or the other thing. So, Uni, I'm sorry, I'm siding with them on this case. I hope you respect my decision on this. I hope you'll still hear me out and still want to talk to me about your issue with Steve, because I still want to hear your side of it. I've watched your Versus Mode 2 and your, what was that one called again? Sorry, I keep notepads with my notes on here. Save them in a little archive, so to speak. Give me just a second here. And let me come up here on this now. So it was oh, where is it? Oh yeah, it was my response to the last few days. The one where you talked about not becoming the monster that you're trying to hunt, so to speak. Paraphrasing your opening and ending comment. But I honestly, I almost forgot to cover the Google Hangout Conversations stream that you did, where Dead Kennedy was in the stream. I wholeheartedly agree with you. It's your channel. You mod it how you want to mod it. Was Dead Kennedy spamming you? Matter of interpretation. Dead Kennedy, you've come out and even said that hesitantly that you might have overdid it a little bit. I'm glad you could see that, but at the same time, I understand why you would do it. UniRock, I understand that you have member status, you have, you're part of the partner program and all that fun stuff, and more power to you on that. But I find it cowardly to use member only to hide yourself from criticism. I found it downright despicable that you would hide yourself from criticism of any sort rather than seek it out. Keon's criticized me on my channel, and even I have said that he would vouch for me, and he tried to attack me, and I just calmly said, try again. My point in all of this, and I know I'm long-winded and rambling, that's just me. My whole point in all of this, Uni, is that I hope you take time to reflect on how you do things. It's your channel. Run it how you want. If you want to keep doing this style, keep doing this style. That's you. By all means. I just hope for once, though, that you will stop and think. I hope you'll stop and think for once about the people outside of your direct target for a change, though. So, with that said, I'm going to end it here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support if you guys are supporting me. Uni, since I've met your criteria of watching the versus mode and my response, I will be in contact with negative exponents to get into your Discord server when I am ready to talk. I am also willing to talk to you just about anywhere that you want to. Your channel, my channel, a third-party channel. You know, I'm not going to debate you on anything. I just want to have a conversation. The question is, do you want to have a conversation too? And with that, everybody, have a great week. Enjoy your time. And support who you want to support. And research. Be a critical thinker. Step back and try to look at the big picture. Try to let your bias be pushed aside. I know it's hard. I had a hard time with this. But I hope I did my best. Thank you all.